Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sheldon and this is Behind the Enthusiast. Today we are getting back on track on some really late 2025 Harley-Davidson model videos. Now, this is going to be the first of quite a few that I have to catch up on. And so today we're going to do probably one of the biggest changes, and that is going to be the 2025 Softail model lineup, also known as the cruiser platform. So we're going to talk about some of the changes, and then we're going to dive into the individual models, and they're actually under 3 different classes now. So with the Softail 117 engine, it is being tuned specifically for each category. We have classic, custom, and also high output. And we're going to have 2 models per group. Now, the major change to this engine is the oil cooling system. We've got a redesigned cylinder heads and intake system as well. Now, something that you guys hopefully will be excited for is the selectable ride modes. Just like my Pan Am, yes. So we're gonna have sport, we're gonna have road, and rain. Technically in order, they're road, sport, and rain. But those are the 3 options that you guys are gonna get. This is something that you can do on the fly as well. And it is going to be tied into the new hand controls, so it's going to be really, really easy to use. You're also going to get an adjustable brake lever as well, and all models now have the rider safety enhancements as standard options on the bikes. Now, the suspension is also going to be retuned front and rear. You're also going to get a USB-C port now. That is a change. And there's also 2 heated gear elements, or little plugins, I guess, under the seat. Now, I wasn't aware of this, but this is definitely a nice feature for you guys, because anyone who likes to ride all season long, definitely a bonus. And to round off all those changes, we have a new instrument display. And again, this is kind of tied into all the other changes with the motor, the ride modes, and everything else. So a lot of things have been switched over. Essentially, you're kind of seeing all the stuff that is on the touring models now switched over to the Softail models a little bit late, but that's generally how Harley does it. They kind of stagger things, put everything on the touring bikes first, and then the Softail models follow up a little bit later on. Now, let's jump into those 3 categories. First up, we have classic. Now, for the classic models, we're going to be starting off with the Street Bob, coming in at $20,299. It is going to be featured in chrome trim. Cast black wheels are standard, and if you want tubeless laced rims, those are going to cost you an extra $1,000. Color options: billiard gray. We've also got an updated tank badge, which looks really, really nice. We have vivid black for an additional $450. Centerline, very nice bright yellow for an additional $650. I think this is actually a pretty cool color depending on the model. Street Bob is very fitting. We also have Iron Horse Metallic, which is going to cost you an additional $800. I think this is a pretty cool color. However, maybe it looks a little bit better on some of the other models we're going to be talking about. And of course, we have a bit of a spicy one here. This one may catch your eye. Purple Abyss Denim for, again, an additional $800. Now, keep in mind, the exhaust system, it's a 2-into-1, really sharp looking, and that kind of ties in with all those updates, right? We've got a sleeker looking bike, if you will. And speaking of sleek, well, you're not going to get that when we go to the next model, which is the Heritage Classic. This thing is fully loaded, $28,199. It is offered in a black trim, coming out with a new 9-spoke cast black wheels. Tubeless laced is an additional $1,000 if you want to switch over to those. And of course, we're gonna start things off for color options with billiard gray. And again, an updated tank badge, which looks pretty nice. No complaints there. Vivid black, of course, it's going to cost you an additional $450. Now, this next color looks really, really sharp. White onyx pearl, an additional $800. This color, I would say, is one of my favorites, maybe like my top 3 at the moment. And of course, we also have iron horse metallic for an additional $800. This is definitely a darker color, so if you guys don't like the bright color of white onyx pearl, iron horse metallic would be the way to go. And of course, we also have a mix. We have two-tone, whiskey fire and vivid black for an additional $1,100. Now, regardless of which ones you guys go with for the color, the Heritage Classic is fully loaded. So reminder, 2-in-1 exhaust. You have a windshield, saddlebags, and floorboards compared to the Street Bob, which has foot pegs on it. Now, depending on what type of riding you're going to be doing, you should be able to pick one or the other. Keep in mind, the Street Bob, you can add saddlebags, you can add a windshield if you want. However, it really depends on what type of riding you guys want to do. The Street Bob is more, stripped down, and I think a lot of people are probably going to be, I'm going to say they're going to be customizing the Street Bob more than they would the Heritage Classic. And when I say customizing, I mean like really customizing. Not to say that you can't customize a Heritage Classic. I've seen it. We have one build right now, which is looking really, really good at the dealership. But in terms of like badass custom, I think the Street Bob is the way to go. So depending on how you're feeling, Street Bob or the Heritage Classic rounds out the classic models. Now, moving on over to the custom models, and this is, again, I just mentioned customizing bikes. These ones are kind of meant to be customized to the point where you don't really need to do a whole lot of work to them. However, you can prove me wrong, that's for sure. And I love it when people come out with their own unique ideas after buying a base model. Breakout, for example, coming in at $28,299. This is offered in chrome trim with billiard gray as a base model color. Now, the tank graphic, I'm not too fond of it, to be completely honest. However, it does look a little bit better when you change it over to vivid black for an additional $450. Switching up the, from the dark to the bright, we have center line again, that yellow, for an additional $650. Doesn't quite look as good on the Breakout as it does on the Street Bob, just my personal opinion. Brilliant red for an additional $800. This one really suits the Breakout. I think it suits it really, really well. And rounding out the colors, we also have Midnight Firestorm for an additional $1,600. Midnight Firestorm, it looks really, really cool. It's definitely the most custom of the Breakout colors. And I think if you're looking at something that you want to get noticed, it's probably the way to go. And for $1,600, pretty good option there. Now, if you guys want something, let's say a little bit more classic, the Fat Boy's probably the way to go, coming in at $27,299, a little bit cheaper than the Breakout. Also offered in chrome trim as well. Now, billiard gray looks really, really nice. It's got an updated badge on it as well. And the thing is, the Fat Boy, it's really hard to make the Fat Boy look bad. Now, vivid black, an additional $450. Again, you cannot make this thing look bad in any of these color options. And of course, saying that, Blue Burst is up next for an additional $800. This is my favorite color right now. The Fat Boy in Blue Burst just looks so, so good. If I were to be buying a Fat Boy, I'd probably go with a Blue Burst. And again, it only gets offered in chrome trim, which is fine. That's just the styling of it. That's the way I would probably want to go with that color in particular. I wouldn't want a black trim with the blue. The blue is meant to be accented by chrome, so it is matched perfectly, if you ask me. However, if you want to spice things up a little bit and go with two-tone, we have Whiskey Fire and Vivid Black for an additional $1,100. Now, me personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just not for me, but it might be for you. Now, if you guys aren't convinced of the custom models, maybe, just maybe, you want a high output model. And this is going to include the Lowrider S, coming in at $26,099. Yeah, so about $100. Offered in black trim. Now, I must say, I am very, very pleased to say this. There are no more bronze accents on the bike. They've switched over to red and black, which is great. I was so tired of the bronze. I'm glad it's gone. And so the first color option, billiard gray, thing looks great in that. And we also have vivid black for an additional $450. And the Lowrider S, I mean, you can't really go wrong with this bike because it looks really, really cool. This thing has been out for quite a while now. I don't remember exactly the year, but Lowrider S, again, you can also add saddlebags to this as well. And if you're not convinced yet, maybe Brilliant Red will do the trick, coming in at an additional $800. Very reasonable. And if you don't like red, well, maybe you like something a little bit darker. Iron Horse Metallic for an additional $800. So regardless of which one you choose, same price. Brilliant Red or Iron Horse Metallic, I think they both look really, really good on this bike. And if you're still not convinced of the color options for the Lowrider S, there's always Mystic Shift for an additional $1,500. And it also gets a custom badge. Honestly, I think this color is really, really nice. I don't know why you wouldn't want to buy one of these. And even if you don't buy it, you're definitely going to appreciate it. Now, following up the Lowrider S, we have the Lowrider ST coming in at $29,999. And we have two trim options. We've got Brilliant Chrome and Rich Black for an additional $1,400. So this is the first time I've ever seen both being offered. You know, you got chrome or black, and the color options will change a little bit depending on which one you go with. So under Brilliant Chrome, we have Billiard Gray, base model color. However, it has a wing badge compared to the Rich Black trim, and depending on what you like about this, well, you're going to have to choose one or the other. Now, Billiard Gray with the new wing badge on it does look pretty good. However, we've also got Vivid Black for an additional $700. And again, still looks pretty good. However, then you come over to my favorite color, which is Blue Burst. Looks really good, especially with the chrome. However, it's going to cost you an additional $1,100. Yet the badge has a little bit of a blue outline on it, kind of gets lost. So maybe it should have been outlined in black on this one. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of that one. Now, the black trim with Billiard Gray, definitely a nice option. And the other thing to keep in mind is we're going to have the red accenting on the bike now, which is really hard to say no to, because in Vivid Black for an additional $700, this thing looks so mean. I mean, if you see one of these on the showroom, you're probably going to buy it. Now, bear with me here. Brilliant Red for an additional $1,100. This thing, I don't like red. I have two red bikes. I have a racing bike and I also have a street bike, both in red. I don't like red, but Brilliant Red, really hard to say no to. And I mean, if you guys love red, this is definitely the bike for you. However, if you don't like red, or you're just not convinced that it's the right color option for you, maybe Iron Horse Metallic will be the option for you. An additional $1,100 as well. A little bit more of a darker theme, but not quite as black as, you know, Vivid Black, right? So depending on what you like, you know, do you want to go all the way? Do you want to go kind of midway? Or do you want to go with a nice, sharp, brilliant red? There's just so many color options this year, and I'm not done yet. There's one final one. Midnight Firestorm for an additional $2,700. Now this one is a fully custom paint job, custom badge on it as well. So you get the ghost flames on it. I haven't seen this in person on this bike. However, I have seen it on another model and it looked really, really sharp. And so I think that's pretty much it for the cruiser lineup this year. Again, we have a lot of changes, a lot of really cool paint options, and we have those three categories: classic, custom, and high output. Now, last but not least, of course, at the end of this video, smash the like button so I know that it's working. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. And of course, be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss out on future content on the channel. And then one more thing, one favor I must ask: choose a model from each category, classic, custom, or high output. Choose one or the other, because there's two in each, and tell me why. That's your homework for this video. That's the last thing I'm going to ask of you guys. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.